The next element is analog to digital conversion, because most of the controls system uses a digital signal. So if a sensor is giving an analog output, it has to be converted into a corresponding digital signal. So you are having the process. The output of the process is measured using a sensor. Whatever the sensor is giving the output, that is going to be conditioned, which means it will be filtered from unnecessary signals. It will be filtered with respect to noise, and only the useful information from the output of the sensor will be utilized or is the requirement. All the other unnecessary portions of the signal are eliminated in the signal conditioning. Then next you are having the multiplexer, and then you are having the amplifier, and finally you are having the analog to digital converter. That is a signal which is given to the input to the computer or input to the control system. Now what is this amplifier? Amplifier is a device which is going to increase the strength of the signal. You are getting a 0.2 volt here. Maybe the digital signal requirement is 5 volts. So that 0.2 will be correspondingly increased to 5 volt. 0.1 may be increased to 2.5 in the amplifier. Now ADC is analog to digital converter. It is going to convert the analog signal into a digital value, which means here you are going to get a 2.5 volts. The 2.5 volts will be converted into a binary number format, that is a digital value, and that signal will be sent to the computer. So it will be converted into a series of bits, and that bit information is sent to the control system or to the digital computer. Now what is this multiplexer? For every sensor, the signal has to be converted into a digital format. You require an analog to digital converter. These are costly equipment, and if you are having too many of them, the entire system is going to become bulky, and so you are using something called as multiplexers, which are going to receive several signals, and at a particular intervals of time it is going to feed the required signals through the amplifier and ADC. So what is the advantage? So advantage is you need not have special ADC and amplifier for each of the signals. You can have only one ADC and one amplifier, and the multiplexer will keep on giving various signals for conversion and further utilization for controlling the process. So how does the analog to digital conversion take place? It basically happens in 3 steps. The first one is a sampling, next one is a quantization, and the third one is called as a encoding. So variable A, let it be the continuous signal, that is analog signal. This is a time axis. So you are making the continuous measurements and you are getting the analog signal. Now you want to convert this analog signal into a digital. So the first step is sampling. So that is the measurement of the analog signal at some fixed intervals of time. That is called as a sampling. The interval of time will be dependent on the requirement. If you want a highly accurate digital conversion, then you have to do sampling very quickly or at a faster rate. If you are increasing the sampling time, then the controlling may not be as requirement because too much of time has elapsed and the values or controlling will not be as smooth as required. Next one is a quantization. So whenever we say digital, there are going to be certain fixed levels. So whatever the analog value is measured at that particular time, it has to be assigned to a particular level. For example, we have divided the total range into say 8 levels. Then whatever the measurement has been carried out at the sampling time, it has to be allocated to one of these levels. That is the quantization. The encoding process involves whatever the levels it has been allocated, it has to be converted into the corresponding digital code. For example, we are having a 4-bit converter, then we can have 2 to the power of 4 minus 1, that is 15 levels ranging from 0 to 15, that is totally 16 numbers can be used for representing the value. So you are having 15 different levels above 0, so you can quantify the given measured value to any of these 15 levels, and for each level there is a corresponding digital value or the binary number which you can be used, consisting of 4 bits. So that 4-bit information will contain what is the value of the signal at that particular time. So correspondingly at various times the measured value will be quantized or it will be quantified to a particular level, and that corresponding binary number will be the encoded value for that particular signal. So now instead of the voltage or maybe force or some other parameter, we are representing that by using a binary number or a digital code. So this is how the analog to digital conversion happens, that is in 3 phases. So how do we select a analog to digital converter for a given application? So what are the things we have to consider? The first one is the sampling rate. If you want a very accurate measurement and accurate representation, if you want to represent this curve or this output value more accurately, then you have to make the sampling in very short periods of time. So that is the sampling rate. Next one is the conversion time. So how much time is required to convert the measured value into a corresponding digital signal or into the binary number format. That is the conversion time. If the conversion time is very high, then sampling rate also is going to be very high, because you have made one sampling, that information is being processed for conversion into digital value or digital signal. The second sampling has already taken place and this signal is still processing, so there will not be proper flow of the signals. Now we have already discussed that one analog to digital converter is going to be used for several input variables. For example, a analog to digital converter takes 5 seconds for conversion and there are 5 signals at the multiplexer. Then what should be the sampling rate? So to complete one set of conversion of all the 5 signals, the analog to digital converter requires 5 into 5, that is equal to 25 seconds. So the sampling rate has to be for a particular input has to be 25 seconds. So at every 25 seconds we have to make the sampling. If you make it at less time, then you have already done the sampling, but the analog to digital converter will not be able to take up the signal. It will be stopped at the multiplexer. Again you are taking one more, the signal has not moved from the multiplexer, so there will be some loss of signals. The next one is the resolution. Resolution is the smallest change in the output variable that can be detected. So this is very similar to the camera resolution what we are having. So what is the smallest size of the image that can be clearly seen. If you are having a 4-bit controller, then you can have 2 to the power of 4 minus 1 number of levels, that is 2 to the power of 4 is 16 minus 1 is 15 levels. So you can represent the values from 0 to 15 or binary numbers 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1. So each binary value represents one level. If you want to increase the resolution, that is reduce the distance between two, if you want to reduce the width of that particular level, then you have to increase the number of bits for that particular information. If you have to go for 16-bit, you can go for 32-bit, you can go for 62-bit. But as the number of bit size increases, the information to be processed also is going to increase. The sampling time is also going to increase. Next one is the conversion method. How exactly are we converting the analog signal into digital signal? One of the most common methods is by successive approximation methods. So in this method, whatever the sampled value is there, that will be compared with a reference value. If the sampled value is more than the reference value, then for that particular bit the value will be 1. If it is less, the value will be 0. So in the first step, the measured value will be compared with half the full range. That is, we are dividing the entire range into two parts and we are seeing whether the given value is in the upper 50% of the range or in the lower 50% of the range. If it is in the upper 50% of the range, the leftmost bit value will be 1, otherwise it will be 0. If it is 1, if the value to be converted is more than the reference value, then the bit value will be 1. And in the next step, we are taking the difference. Again we are taking the difference. Now we are comparing with half the previous reference value, that is 1/4 the range. Again we are comparing. If the value to be converted is less than the reference value at a particular step, then the corresponding binary value will be 0. The next step, the value to be converted will be taken as it is. The reference value will be divided by half. Again comparison is made. If the value to be converted is still less, the bit value will become 0. That will be carried forward to the next step. The reference value will be further divided by 2. Now if the value to be converted is more than the reference value, then the bit value will be 1. The difference of the two values will be taken forward to the next step. The reference value will be further divided by 2. Again the comparison will be made. So in this way successive comparisons are made to determine whether the given analog value is in the upper 50% range or in the lower 50% of range in each step. Thereby we are able to determine the binary equivalent of the variable. So this is one of the conversion methods which are more commonly employed.